Hey everybody, welcome to Aaron's 31 Days of Horror. This is my segment where every day I give you something dedicated to horror, dedicated to Halloween, dedicated to things that I love about Halloween and horror. Today, I would like to give you a top 10 list. My top 10 psychological horrors. Psychological horror? What does that mean? I have my own segment called Is It Horror, where I check off if it can hit the 5 markers of Aaron. My own personal taste of what is horrific, what is horror. So all these films hit that. Now, psychological horror is been around. It's not a new thing, but there's more of a neo-psychological horror that kind of happened around 10, 15 years ago. And people would probably go see these films, and it's classified as horror, and think that they're going to be scary. And they're not necessarily scary in the jump scare kind of way that the kind of classic mainstream horror films are. So that's what it does psychological for me, is if it's messing with your mind, if it haunts you here, afterwards you cannot stop thinking about it. So that is what psychological horror is to me. It haunts you in a different way. These are my top 10 psychological horrors. These might not be films that are necessarily even be award worthy to other people, but this is my own personal top 10 list of how they affected me. I'll give you some of my personal anecdotes or experiences I had watching the film, and I only have 30 seconds for each one. Until number 1, I get a whole minute just to tell you why it is where it is on the countdown. So let's do this thing. Psychological horror. Love the category, love the genre. To kick this thing off, I just like to remind you that there's going to be light spoilers. Nothing that's going to destroy or ruin the film for you, so you can go still go see this film. Number 10, Weapons. Weapons is very new. I just saw it about a month or two ago, so I'm not putting it high on my list yet. I don't even know if it'll stay in my top 10, but it's affecting me personally right now as I do this countdown. So I'm never going to deny when something is happening to me right now. And seeing this film, it messed with my mind in a great way. Kept me thinking about certain things about life, as well as Aunt Gladys, and the whole ending segment was so much fun, and it got me thinking about today's problems, today's issues, and I love that about it. And just on my countdown for right now, but it may not stay forever. Number 9. You may have forgotten about this film, possibly, but it affected me when I was younger. The Cell. Yeah, that's right, that Jennifer Lopez film. At the time, possibly even now, I haven't watched it in a long time, but what a gorgeous freaking film it was. To get inside the killer's mind, to be able to go into someone's mind and see what a killer has, a psycho has within them, and great visuals, horrific things happening in them. And at the time, I was in love with J-Lo, so I was watching anything that J-Lo had coming out. And so as a young boy, it really affected me. It was really creepy and awful and scary to be in the mind. I remember just not even want to look because it was so awful, but also wanting to look because it was so gorgeous. And so it stayed with me, a lot of those images. So it's still on my top 10 out of all of these years. Haunted me. Number 8, The Others. Before we start, I can't believe I have a PG-13 up on this list, but I do. I do. Wow, what a freaking twist at the end. And I'm not gonna tell you what it is, just in case you haven't seen it, but it's paranormal, right, in a way, but it's also very psychological to me. It affected me afterwards of like, what, who, where, what's real, what's not real, what is going on? It really got me in that way, and it's what Nicole Kidman should have won her Oscar for, in my personal opinion. But horror wasn't really respected in that way, but it was just a great take at paranormal in a psychological way. Number 7, The Orphanage. The Orphanage is a Spanish language film, so if you're not into that, maybe that's why you haven't seen it, but it's set to run like subtitles, meaning, but it was what I was looking for. I wanted like an Others kind of film, and it did it one better. It is, I guess paranormal, but spooky, stays with you, haunts you. Again, what is real, what is not real. It just affected me in such a great way, and to this day, still think about it. But it's actually a film I kind of keep personal to me. I don't really tell people to watch it, and I should more. It's a psychological horror that casts a spell on you. Number 6 is Midsommar. Midsommar really affected me because what a great allegory for relationships and the breakup of relationships. And I was personally going through a breakup at the time. And to use the horror of relationships ending but not knowing how to end them with this kind of Swedish day, all in the daytime. Like it was never in the dark, and still terrifying. Like it was something, just feeling like there's something beyond the corner always, or something behind the scenes that we weren't really seeing, but feeling this ominous presence, which just feels like kind of how a relationship ends, right? That there's this thing that they're not saying, something that we don't trust, just feels ominous behind it. A great psychological horror. That's a great allegory for relationships. And Ari Aster, man, he did a big one with that. And I know divisive for some, but top five, baby. Top five, top five, top five. Number five, Speak No Evil. Not the James McAvoy version, the 2022, the original version. Y'all, this is horror. I don't care what people say. It freaking affected me for weeks. I kind of cried about it randomly throughout the time after I saw it. It just got to me about life. It got to me about the things that we put up with, stand up for, don't stand up for, that evil really is within people, and to not trust people, but also who do you trust? It just made me question so much about passive aggressiveness, our society as a whole, what we do culturally, what we put up with. For me, number five, wow, it got me. Number four, Get Out. Woo! Get Out is classic. It is one of the best films, I think, made. And it's number four because I have other ones that kind of hold my heart. But I just want to talk about my experience of watching it, seeing it with a bunch of friends, watching a film that talks about racism in such a great way through horror. And it made you think after it. It just made you really, the concept of white privilege, a concept about what it means to be black in America, the concept of that it's still here, the awful horror of racism and the white privilege, and that we're still doing it. We still have the idea of slavery in a different kind of concept, and it brings it right to the screen for you. Three, Donnie Darko. Now, before we begin, this is one that I question, like, is this horror really? But to me, it passed my markers. You just have to get 3 out of those 5 markers, and I did it, so I'm calling it horror. And so Donnie Darko, number 3. I know this isn't the best film ever made. I get it. It has a lot of flaws, but at the time, it really hit me. I know it by heart. I can quote it. I really doubt your commitment to sparkle motion. Like, it just has such great campy quality about it, but also makes you think. It has this, like, scary, like, feeling throughout it, like right on top of it, but it's not necessarily scary. But afterwards will leave you thinking about time, the concept of time, leave you thinking about the concept of mental health, the medications we take because of it, and all of it. It was well done, so good. Donnie Darko, it'll always be up there for me. To me, psychological horror. Number 2, been a favorite for a while. It Follows. I know this one isn't loved by everybody, but it really did one on me. I remember taking my parents to go see it, to take my friend to go see it. When I saw this film and heard about it, that music, the score really got like this. I love that there's kind of like not a time period to it. It's just kind of ethereal. It's just somewhere. It's in America, small town America at some point. And the idea of having, you know what, and then it follows you and you have to go and do it again. So it's, that's positive in a way, sex positive, but also not. I love this film. It really got me. And I've heard they're doing a sequel. Very excited about that. If you haven't seen it, it's just a great stylish film that stayed with me and haunted me in a love letter kind of way. Number 1 is That Girl, Is That One. The king of psychological horror, in my opinion. Hereditary. This one, gosh darn it, this one. Grief is the monster. We think the monster is one thing, it turns out to be another thing, and it leaves you reeling after it, and it still has horror in it. And the imagery in it will haunt you, if not the actions that happen within it, if you know what I'm talking about. And then, the acting, Toni Collette. How did she not get nominated for a freaking Oscar? How did this film not get nominated for Best Picture? It haunts me to this day, thinking about that whole speech at the whole monologue at the dinner table towards her son. It's just, if you've ever had kind of this turmoil, this grief, this layered feelings, you get it, and then it goes there by the ending and leaves you feeling hopeless in some way, right? But also hopeful. Oh, Hereditary. haunts me. It is the one of psychological horror. The one and only for me. That's it. That's the top 10. I hope you had some fun with me on this list. This is all for fun. It's all subjective. It's just my taste, the things that I've experienced in my life. So I think it's really important, instead of talking about the films themselves, but talk about our experiences with them, or how we came to love them, or why they stayed with us. So I hope you get why it affected me, but I also love to hear from you. What is your favorite psychological horror, or what is your top 10? You let me know in the comments. It's okay to disagree on things, but what we're not going to do is boo on each other's scare. I'm not going to hate on what makes you scared, and don't hate on what makes me scared. We're different people having different experiences, but what brings us together is possibly the horrors that we've experienced. What scares you is personal to you, and I love what scares you. I hope you love what scares me. Happy Halloween.